Desiree.
Hi,
You know what? It occurred to me that we always ask our clients to share their innermost feelings about what's been happening with their IBS, but we've never actually shared our own story. So I wanted to speak with you today to find out really what brought you to this point. So is that something you'd be prepared to talk about?
Definitely, sure. I mean, I feel like my clients share with me all the time, so it is my turn to share, definitely, for sure.
So tell me, how did you first experience IBS? What was happening for you? How old were you?
So it was actually in my teens, and if I actually think back to my childhood, I'd always had stomach issues. I always had a stomach ache. I was always telling my mother that I had a stomach ache. And I had really severe gas, bloating, really stinky gas, I have to say. And it all came to a culmination when I went away to summer camp one summer. I was a counselor in the U.S. in Massachusetts, and I was just having the biggest flare-up that I'd ever had in my life. A lot of car sickness, a lot of nausea, and just a lot of pain, a lot of that stinky gas and bloating. And that was it for me. After a childhood of having suffered for that long, and then in my teens it became so embarrassing. I was at a summer camp with other youth, and it was just embarrassing all the time. It was embarrassing to be with boys. It was embarrassing to be around my friends. So I called up my mom and her then boyfriend, and they came all the way. They drove all the way from Canada to pick me up from that summer camp and drive me back home to try to finally explore what was going on.
You had to stop what you were doing. You were there working, you were away, and you had to stop and come home.
Definitely, yeah. That was the only option. Enough was enough. I couldn't continue there without the proper medical services or some type of investigation. And if I actually go back into my youth, I remember always being on the toilet. I had a little ensuite bathroom when I was young, and I was always trying to find solutions, trying to find the reason why. I remember spending hours locking myself in the toilet, rubbing my abdominal area with essential oils, just hoping for some relief. And I thought that was normal until that point when I was a teenager and realized it's not normal to live this way. There has to be another option. So that's when the investigation started.
So what did you do at that time then? What did your parents do?
So at that time I went to a gastroenterologist. I remember my mother and brother taking me there, and it was terrifying for me at the time. I was a young girl. And I had a bunch of invasive testing done. I had a colonoscopy, I had a gastroscopy to try to figure out what was going on. After doing all that, the test results came out perfect. Nothing was wrong, yet I still suffered from these symptoms. And I ended up getting a prescription for a motility drug and some Metamucil.
So did that actually help at the time?
I had this instinctual feeling that this is not what I needed, and I actually refused to take it because I didn't feel like I needed something to help me go more. In fact, I was having very large bouts of alternating diarrhea sometimes and then very severe constipation at other times. So I was afraid to take the fiber, actually. And
what did you do? What worked for you?
So out of that came a real exploration. I got my first job at a health food store. I had no idea what this place was. I had never set foot into a health food store before. And I quickly came to understand that there were other foods out there, that there were herbs out there, that there were supplements out there, and that there was this entire other way to handle your health.
That's amazing. So how did that change things for you?
So I went to see a team of naturopaths at the Canadian College of Naturopathic Medicine in Toronto, and I was put on a pretty severe restrictive program which included the brown rice diet and all sorts of other protocols that I was meant to do. And it was time that I finally follow this to a T because I needed some relief. And out of following this program, some days were really difficult, I have to say. Some days I didn't want to do it. But I really stuck to it, and I ended up seeing incredible results. And I can safely say, up till this day, I'll sometimes have little, tiny flare-ups, but up till this day, My bowel movements are easy, thank goodness. They're not strained. They're regular. I don't feel my digestive system. I was a nervous child. That probably contributed to things, but I used to really hold in my muscles and tense up, and I would find myself doing that once I learned that I was doing that. And I was able to just release, and find comfort.
Your mom, how did she feel once you'd said, "Hey, Mom, I found the solution"?
She was definitely, relieved to stop hearing me say that I had a stomach ache. And I guess my mom, must have been really proud that I had forged on this new path. And my brother actually was into health foods his whole life. And so I guess it wasn't foreign to her, these weird flaxseed and green concoctions and all of these things that I was doing. And it really helped me to be more comfortable in my social situations. I can say that now as a mother, if I hadn't taken action when I did, I don't even know what my life would be like. I would probably not be able to be present for my children and run after them like they need and prepare meals and do all of the tasks that a mother is responsible for.
Sure. It impacts on your whole life, doesn't it?
Definitely. I was also able to work and get a job and be comfortable not running to the toilet every 5 minutes, because that can be really embarrassing, when you have an employer and you're dealing with bowel issues. So all in all, I could say that I found amazing relief in my gut. I'm more comfortable. Things move smoothly for me, and I have more energy, and I have that energy needed to be a mom and be with my kids. Yeah. So.
Oh, that's an amazing journey you've been on. Thanks so much for sharing that.
Thank you so much for asking. It really feels good to actually get it out there. So thank you, Gabby. Great. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.